Hey everyone, thanks so much for coming. We're still just waiting for Hoogs and Chu and Jason to join. Hopefully, I hope we'll get all three up here. All right, he's here. What's happening, Hoogs? Hey, sir, can you hear me? Okay, I'm still. I'll wait for him to get mic on. Okay, I am hearing to wait. Just a minute, guys. Hey, Chu, glad you made it.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hey, hey. So just a quick heads up because a few people have flagged it. I think um I think the Solayer app is currently having a technical issue. And so I don't know if we'll maybe have an update on that during the call but I think that'll probably be resolved shortly. But beyond that, really excited. Everybody, okay, I'm just getting an update. It seems fixed to me, so never mind that. Really happy everybody joined, and especially wanted to give a shout out to the community that's been supporting through the last few weeks, and of course the last months as well. But I mean, we've seen some real strong community rally together, especially the gang from the basement, and so big love to those to those members. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna pull up our agenda 1 second here. Yeah, Watermelon, Vez, and everybody else. Much love to all of you guys. Okay, so I'm Tom. I still have TD in here, but I will update that soon. I'm just coming on Solayer, helping out on some growth and community stuff. I think we're gonna have. I think it's gonna get a lot of fun. It's gonna be really fun here over the next few months. Of course, as we lead up to Layer Token to Infinity SVM and so much more. And so I'll give this opportunity for Hoogs to give maybe an overview, an introduction for Solayer, and then an intro for Chu.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for the intro there. I'll probably defer, to Rachel for some of the more like technical stuff around Solaya, but yeah, happy to be on the AMA. I know we previously did a couple on Spaces, and I think this is the first one that we've done now on Discord. So not sure if you mentioned it in the intro, but we are hoping to kind of make these a bit more regular in terms of doing some of the community AMAs and things like this. So yeah, excited to kick this off. I guess probably a lot of people here are already quite familiar with the project, but for those who aren't too familiar, then or who are joining us for maybe the first time, Solaya, we originally started out as kind of a restaking protocol in Solana, so taking advantage of the stake-weighted quality of service to kind of give dApps and people like that the ability to overcome some of the congestion issues that were facing Solana, and then in really a very short period of time since launching with that, we then did SUSD, which is the first RWA-backed yield-bearing stablecoin on Solana. So it's backed by treasury bills and has a native yield. And then we've also got, as you know, with the Emerald card and things like that from the community sale, we also have a sort of savings account infrastructure layer that we're building out. And so we can touch on that a little bit more in the AMA and explain what that's all about, because it hasn't really been fully released yet. But these are sort of the key product suites, if you will, that are behind the Solayer ecosystem. And then more recently, we've gone in the direction of hardware acceleration. I'll kind of pass it over to Rachel to give a little bit more background on that and sort of what led to the decision to build this out, and one, kind of how it works in terms of the Solana ecosystem and complements, what we're doing there and trying to scale the SVM. And then just more generally, what it looks like as essentially a standalone L1 as well, because Solana doesn't really have side chains and L2s and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's probably a good intro. I'll pass it to Rachel to take it from there.
Yep. Cool. So nice to meet you, everybody. And think the last time I actually spoke on an AMA was about basically around the time that we launched. So I was super happy to talk here again. I think we'll run this more frequently. I think it'll be really fun. I know everybody's just asking when, which is fine, but happy to jam on any type of topic. I think maybe we can start off with I guess the question was why we started, was it?
I guess maybe more in the context of Infiny SVM, sort of how we went from, the restaking to then why we're building a hardware accelerated SVM blockchain.
Cool. So basically, high level is, SVM itself is the most superior virtual machine, right, compared to EVM. And like Solana, period, is just going to excel than any EVM scaling solution. Like just take out Monad, take out Mega ETH, like none of these solutions actually will scale. So anyways, SVM is basically a superior architecture. Coming to Solana, a lot of people kind of mistaken what we're doing as EigenLayer for Solana, which is securing, economic interest of ETH on other chains. And for us, we kind of took that very differently when we came to SVM, which is how can we scale Solana? Because ultimately, right now, there is one and only, fundamental issue that Solana faces, which is actually bandwidth issue. Like we said in the article, peer-to-peer grade consumer networking is essentially 1 gigabyte per second, and Solana is already reaching 0.8. So there is actually no way to scale Solana further because there is literal bandwidth issue, right? Same with EVM, same thing with actually SVM. So coming to Solana, our very first thought is how can we actually scale Solana? Now we basically introduced stake weight quality of service using stake, right? Right now we're producing 20% APY because we're building dangerously large blocks. We're also jacking up on our validator. And right now we're doubling the APY across the landscape. So to that extent, we actually include a lot of transactions. We're able to process a lot more transactions than a normal validator. I just need to stop looking at the comments.
Yeah, it's getting a bit crazy, some of the things people are saying.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess going further than that is you cannot scale beyond, you cannot scale with better code, right? We're trying to optimize Solana with better code, more code. That just doesn't work. So the next iteration and the finale of what we're delivering is a hardware accelerated SVM layer 1 network. A parallel block, like a parallel layer 1 blockchain next to Solana, where it's hardware offloaded. And what that means is that we're literally running a blockchain on a chip. So you have FPGA, you have SDN switches, or hardware components. We're literally writing code on top of that to run directly above Ethernet. So that in itself achieves millions of TPS and 100 gigabyte per second, whereas right now the average bandwidth is 1 gigabyte per second, right? So scaling is the core of the thesis is you cannot build real-time trading infrastructure. Like you literally cannot build a decentralized Binance if you don't have Facebook level data streaming possibility, right? Like you've got to have the centralized TPS infrastructure to be able to support something like a decentralized Binance. I think right now a lot of people are seeing that more and more volume is actually flowing to DEXs instead of SEXs. The 100x assets are actually happening natively on decentralized exchanges, not centralized exchanges. Yeah, it's the core thesis over there.
Awesome. I think since we already started going into Infinity SVM, it would be great to touch on a few of the questions. We can jump right into that. I don't know what that was. So yeah, if we can jump into those, I think there's a few really interesting ones. But I should have probably rephrased a few of these for the sake of them being clear. But is there a plan to implement blockchain-generated token-based authentication into Infinity SVM so that a wallet owner can send a token and authenticate securely without fear of data loss on SEX or DEX or other services in Web3 ecosystem?
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, it's a kind of a long question. I should have broken these up a bit more. But okay, this is the question. Is there a plan to implement blockchain-generated token-based authentication in Infinity SVM so that a wallet owner can send a token and authenticate securely without fear of data loss on SEX or DEX or other services in Web3?
Not
gonna lie, that it's a little bit of a confusing question even for me, but
yeah, apologies for this one.
Are you saying that there's no data leakage or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Why don't we come back to that one? And I think the other one that was interesting, if that goes, or if Hoogs, if you want to take the next one.
Yeah, someone actually, I was going to ask this already, and then someone dropped it in the chat too, which was just if you could touch a little bit more on kind of the abstraction in terms of how Infinity SVM interacts with Solana, because there was mention about potentially not needing a bridge, like paying gas fees in Sol, things like that. If you could, yeah, just kind of explain that, that would be good.
I didn't really understand the question.
Oh, so the question is when it comes to Infinity SVM and Solana in terms of how Infinity SVM helps Solana scale in terms of, paying gas fees in Sol, but also there's talk about, it kind of being an abstracted, if you will, like sidechain at L2 in terms of, apps being able, Solana applications natively being able to use Infinity SVM to scale. But the end user maybe not necessarily knowing that or needing to take steps like bridging and things like this. If you could explain a little bit more just about that, that would be helpful.
So Solana is very different from EVM. EVM, you have chain ID, right? You have to add chain ID for every single L2 there is, and Solana is account-based model. So that in itself actually has already achieved massive parallelism compared to what EVM brings, because EVM is basically I guess more optimistically concurrent in a way that you don't know what your accounts are already are. So in that regard, you don't actually have to add chain ID. The wallets, you as a user who holds liquidity on Sol today, on Solana, you don't have to necessarily bridge over as well. And so as a user, you don't have to add a chain ID. You don't have to download a new wallet, right, on this new L1. All you have to do is sit tight, and there's one single transaction in which you can quote unquote submit a transaction, get approved, and also bridge in one single transaction. So the only thing that when we launch, the only thing that needs to happen is actually developers sending one single the developers of the applications integrating with us. that's why, it's fundamentally Solana, how Solana is designed, allows for wall agnostic as well as chain agnostic infrastructure, where it's not, ultimately we see a world of a monolithic world computer, not Ethereum of having like a million chains. So.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I have so much more I wanted to jump into, and a lot more questions to get into. But I think for the sake of the madness in the side chat happening here, whether we can or can't, obviously, I don't fully know, but I think if we can if we can settle down the TBA TGEers, is there any timeline we can give for TGE? And of course, the answer to this might be completely no. But updates on TGE, contracts, audits, anything else, and that would include tokenomics release.
So the team spent a lot of time designing tokenomics, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're not actually only building a chain, right? Like, we have our staking solution, we built our own SUSD solution, and also we have our own distribution through debit card, so you can actually spend everything in real life. The reason why we're building this chain is not just because of building the chain, is because you have to build apps on this chain. So there's a lot in plan. Like, there is a lot that we have planned in terms of what is the first application to deploy on Solayer. I think in the blog post we said 3 things specifically. So it's very telling in terms of what we actually want to do on this chain. And we've spent a lot of time in terms of tokenomics on how we own the entire infrastructure, but also own the entire vertical stack. And how all of the value accrues back to the token holders. And we also designed the fact that we want everybody, as many people as possible, obviously, to get into the game early and have skin in the game early. So long story short, we are, our approach of building an infrastructure and also owning an entire vertical stack is a very, very long-term solution and a long-term roadmap. So, in terms of token launch, we want to launch this in a very planned and also well-designed way, instead of just launching a random governance token that nobody's going to look at in the future. So rest assured that it's definitely sooner than you think. And, one thing that we discussed in the private channel, in the basement channel, is that we will actually run an AMA. Like, we'll not go out. Like, the first announcement is going to happen on Discord internally in a very tight-knit way of TG announcements. So I guess keep an eye out on the Discord, and hopefully that explains a lot of things.
Hopefully, the TGE is satisfied now, and some of the comments are quite funny. But we just had Public Chi, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, who's one of our engineers, join as a speaker. So I don't know if you wanted to quickly give an intro.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, my name is Chi, and handle is probably Chi or Ki, as many of them just call me Ki. Yeah, I'm the engineer of Infinity SVM now, and I'm working on the sequencer side. Feel free to throw any technical questions to me.
Tom may have a couple from the community, but also people in the chat, feel free to ask questions. I'll try to keep an eye on them, and if anything pops up that's worth asking, I'll do it. Tom, did you want to take the next questions or topic from here?
Sure. And just quickly on the TG, the TBA, somebody actually made a pretty incredible song, TBA song, the other day that they had posted in the general chat, which had me cracking up. So That was good. Some of the memes coming out of it are pretty funny. This is one actually I think is pretty interesting, directed at Infinity SVM. Is there any other competitors? Is there any other competitors in that space? As far as I know, Solayer is the only one building a hardware SVM L1. But is there any other competitors, and where do we sort of position ourselves against them, or in comparison, I should say?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, so this person was wondering, in terms of Infinity SVM, is there any other competitors or other projects developing something that we would consider a competitor, or someone that's building something similar? Then how would we position ourselves against them? I would say maybe some of the other SVM L2s and things like that. How would we sort of position, Solayer compared to those?
Yeah, lots of people like asking this question. Personally, I don't think we are competing with anyone because like we are the first here. We're not any L2 technically, and we're I will say like we're something between a L1 and L2. And if you read our like white paper, you'll see that we are a mega leader structure to achieve 1 million TPS hopefully. And then also there are other mechanisms that other L2s they don't have, which like the voting mechanism, which will grant rewards to the participant in this network. So yeah.
Great. And here's another one that's fairly technical on Infinity SVM. The question is, who will act as RPC nodes, and what can we discuss regarding the decentralization of Infinity SVM and Solana?
Good question. So the decentralization is basically enabled by the participant in this network. Like I said before, the voters. We as the mega leader, we will sequence all the transactions and from either like transactions sent directly to our nodes, the pre-execution nodes, or a transaction sent to the Solana network, which prevents censorship. And then like voters, you can run a voter on a very like cheap home machine to gain rewards. And the distribution of like these tasks are very fair. Like you don't need a mega server to run a voter, and that enables like the decentralization and censorship resistance. And also for the RPC nodes, we are working with some partners on this.
Great. Just switching gears back to SSOL. A lot of people have been wondering over the last few days, how is the APY so high right now? How are we achieving that?
Yeah, that's some recent modification we made to Agave, the JITO client. So first we use JITO client, so JITO tips is one source of income of our SOL. And also we optimize the scheduler and also increase the block CU. If you're on like stats nerd, you can check on Solana Compass. You can see our average block CU limit is like way higher than the cluster average. And also recently we are like partnering with Paladin, which is another transaction service. I think this may be announced later in Twitter. But yeah, here's a spoiler. We're like adding yield through that.
Awesome. And then somebody else is asking, as Solayer is sort of as an L1 that's made to be compatible with Solana, will it support current Solana wallets? Will people be able to transact with Infinity SVM in the same way they will with they would from their normal wallet, from their normal tooling they're using currently on Solana?
It's exactly the same. We restrain some, we remove some restraint on Solana, for example, the transaction size. So if you're a developer, you'll know that if you want to deploy a program that like 1 or 2 megabytes of ELF program, you will send the data in multiple transactions, and these transactions may fail on Solana mainnet. And we remove that restraint. And yeah, a lot of better user experience in my opinion. And for the rest, it's exactly the same basically. And also like the transitioning between Solana and us is very smooth. I won't say we are competitors. We are just you can immediately bridge your token from Solana to us, and vice versa. So yeah, that's it.
Very cool. So switching gears back to Chu, and by the way, I'm just going with Chu here on Discord, Rachel, because I think that's become your Discord nickname, which I like. Switching back to you, a lot of people have been asking about the Emerald card. So there were some people that were unable to get access for whatever reason into the community sale, and really want to get their hands on one of those cards. Can you give us like a general overview of this card? I mean, from my understanding, this is going to be a physical card, and when we can expect to see those, what and what other opportunity there will be for people to claim those.
So, yeah. So everybody who got into the sale, had access to the Emerald cards. I would say that everybody who has been a user from the beginning to now, who's been a long time user, will have even higher privilege to claiming the cards. It is coming soon. But it is absolutely planned to have everybody who has been a long time user to have access to the cards. Yeah, and I guess Emerald cards is the cards should be so there's 2 steps. One is actually Apple Pay, and the other one is a physical card. So Apple Pay is going to come earlier. Yeah, so my phone is going crazy. Correct. So everybody who participated in the sale will have the cards, and everybody who's been a long time user will have the cards. And there's a massive product that's coming soon in the next week, 2 weeks or so, which is in connection to the cards.
Okay.
One question. Yeah, one question on the card. Is it emerald, or is it the sort of gold color that was in the image?
So our designer, yeah, maybe Max, if you can find the meme.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
I can't find it, but basically we were like, let's do a gold card, and then I thought emerald was a really nice name, and now we're stuck with emerald cards. Let me find this.
I think regardless of the color, it will look pretty cool though.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, cool. Please drop it in the chat.
I found it. Right. Yeah, so you can be blind.
And they're metal too, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Let me just see. I think another question that we had, and Chi or Chu, whoever wants to take this, was just about kind of the existing ecosystem, obviously built on Solana now with Infinity SVM. How's the ecosystem kind of work then in terms of the existing Solayer products? Do they get in effect like ported over to InfySVM and they're sort of like native there but work with Solana, or is it multi-chain, or are they staying on Solana? If you could just touch on that, would be great.
Mm-hmm. So, in terms of the ecosystem itself, our goal is to own the infrastructure, which is to scale Solana to millions of TPS. And on top of that, the goal is to own the entire vertical stack. So that in that case, we introduced as Sol, which now produces the highest APY, which also means we actually produce the biggest blocks, and process the most transactions. And the second thing is we also introduced SUSD, which is a treasury-backed stablecoin that gives about 4 to 5%. So these two are essentially yield-bearing assets that we own. And debit card is another kind of distribution channel that we want to give to all of our ecosystem / community members. And then in terms of ecosystem partners, obviously we'll bring them over to the chain when we're live, but we're also actively working on the most important application that can be live on day one. And again, all of the vertical stack that we accrue in value will go back to all of the token holders.
I suppose speaking of tokens, governance is sort of mentioned, or I think kind of alluded to potentially as like a use case for the token. Is that planned, or kind of is there anything that you're able to comment on, I suppose, in general in terms of like value accrual or utility that's planned for the token?
So there's 3. One is governance. So we will implement governance system similar to like Compound, where you have Governor Alpha, Governor Bravo, Compound, the lending protocol on Ethereum. And the second one is proof of stake. So Solayer L1 is a combination of proof of authority and proof of stake mechanism. So the token itself will also be used as POS assets alongside Sol. And the third one is basically gas token. And people will be able to pay for gas in our own native token as well as Sol itself. Yep, so these are the primary 3 utilities that we can share for now at a very high level. Obviously, when the tokenomics is released, it'll have a little bit more information on the sequenced rollout and everything. So
I have one more that I think is pretty good. So this person was wondering, why go SVM L1? I mean, even as a hardware SVM L1 do you see SVM as still the better direction than other blockchain forms like Move and what we see happening with Sui, Aptos, and others? Do you still see SVM as superior to Move-based blockchains?
I think like we can ignore EVM for now. And for Move, I used to be a Sui AMA researcher. So in terms of like developer experience, I guess like SVM or Solana, you need more understanding of the underlying mechanism. Like you need to understand how programs are compiled themselves. But once you get that knowledge, like if you have C programming knowledge, you will find it's like really fast, and you have more freedom to do things inside the program rather than using Anchor or Solana's framework. So for like for Sui, it's a interpreter. So that means that you translate like the bytecode there, you execute them one by one. But on SVM, we have just in time. It's a JIT compiler, and then you can basically translate the eBPF bytecode to native machine code, just like any program that runs on your computer. So that will like accelerate the execution really fast. And since we're like targeting 1 million TPS, and I think that's the only choice left.
Very cool.
I can
Go
just
ahead.
piggyback on the 1 million TPS part, actually. When it comes to trying to become the first production blockchain to have 1 million TPS, and then also just in terms of us referring to Infinity SVM as being infinitely scalable, can you sort of touch on like how we scale the blockchain in terms of, if we reach a limit and needs to like, scale even further, how would that be accomplished exactly?
Yeah, so this is like the credit goes to our like mega leader structure. If you know like the Solana client, it's some components of it, it can already reach 1 million TPS. Like for example, the traffic, it definitely can hold 1 million TPS. But the biggest bottleneck there is the consensus. So consensus means that like we as a cluster, the majority of the cluster, they must agree on some transaction, so it can be published to the on the chain. So this mega leader structure will optimistically track the transactions, and voters are they can vote late, and they can challenge later, but the blockchain itself is running at a 1 million TPS.
Very nice. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Tom. Do you have any follow-ups or questions?
No, I think that's it. I'm just making sure we're not missing any of the technical questions. Otherwise, there's some more on community and forward-looking stuff. I think we could ask one of these that's more aligned on this. What are the most important and immediate goals for Solayer in 2025, 2026?
So 2025 is basically making SVM the superior chain. I feel like there is Monad, there is Mega ETH, but in reality, SVM is a lot more superior. So we'll see. I mean, whoever is in this audience right now will probably, it's very early in terms of how SVM is going to take over. Not SVM. So we're seeing a lot of SVM on Ethereum. There's a lot of people that are like, let me bring SVM over to Ethereum. Let me spin up like 1 million SVMs. That's not what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do here is to make SVM the fastest world internet ever in existence, accelerated by hardware. And in that case, Mega ETH or Monad, all of these Ethereum-based or EVM-based infrastructure is just going to be out of the lane. I think that's number one priority. We will, testnet is very soon. Mainnet is even sooner than you think. And we're actively, our approach to launching the chain is not necessarily, like let's onboard different types of apps. Let's onboard, let's have all the apps migrate. We are essentially, when we launched the blog post, we said very clearly that Infinity SVM allows you to play Minecraft, stream movies in real time, trade in real time, and we want to showcase that as we launch the chain. So,
Awesome. I didn't mean to cut you off if there was still something more there, but I just wanted to highlight here. I don't know if it's necessarily. I think maybe something we could touch on, which I think is pretty cool. Is somebody's asking sort of what the purpose of the community sale was. I think I think people kind of forget to an extent how unique running a community sale is compared to the model that's been exclusive for sort of VCs, for what would you call qualified investors, angels, stuff like this. I think so. If you could just touch on, because I think it is very important, like the purpose of doing a community sale versus going those private routes, which exclude the broader community. I think that would be a great thing to highlight. Is there anything you can?
Well, I suppose I can quickly touch on one thing, not directly, but I saw someone posting in the chat there, like, the terms that were part of the community sale were extremely favorable even. So yeah, like the previous model where there were these super low float, really high FDV, VC only kind of sales, like it's really only since probably Echo and some of these other platforms coming about that there's been a return to some of these community sales. And when we were structuring ours, I mean, I can't go into all the details or terms that maybe other investors have and things like that. But certainly, even just on the vesting schedule, like I think that alone, even in terms of community sales, is pretty unique. And so, yeah, certainly, I think it is quite favorable. And the idea there is that Solayer is, we're positioning ourselves as a community first project. That's why we're doing all these different AMAs and spaces and fielding questions and coming up with different ways to involve you guys either through some of the roles on Discord or events that we're planning later in the year. But yeah, I guess that's how I would answer some of that question, Tom.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's what I was hoping to hear. And just going on that as well, touching on communities coming this, or I'm sorry, events coming this year, and community. One really good question to sort of head towards the end on this is somebody is asking, what's the vision for the community of Solayer, and how can they participate and help the project? I think maybe if we all want to, we could all say something on that. I would just say that we have a lot of plans kicking off here in the Discord and broader community, not just limited to Discord. But we already have sort of a core community forming, which is open to anybody that wants to participate. We are very much interested in getting more creatives on board. I mean, and everybody is welcome. Of course, this goes without saying, but we're very much interested in creatives, anybody that is an artist or a creator of any kind that wants to get involved, and just people supporting in the community. We have a lot of people that went through the barrage of messages over the last couple weeks with everything happening, and those people quickly leveled up. We do have a sort of a private channel for some of the core community members, which that hopefully everybody can get into. I think we're trying to somewhat keep it filtered just to make sure that we get people in that are positive contributors and everything. Yeah, the basement. So I think more will come on the basement. There's huge plans for community, and also a ton of events booked this year. And I think just one thing I wanted to circle back on for roadmap is I've been in the space for a few years now, working on various teams, and I've never seen a team move this fast. It's a bit overwhelming, but also incredibly bullish to see the rate of speed and just like the rate of development that goes on here. So really exciting on both community and development wise. And I don't know, Hoogs, if you want to touch on some of the events we're planning, any of the conferences, maybe other things. Maybe it's too soon for that, but yeah, otherwise I think that's about it.
Yeah, I would just add on that too. I mean, if you think the way that Solayer launched is obviously a little bit different to say other blockchain or L1 projects, in the sense that normally for them, like TGE and mainnet is like the big kind of thing. Whereas for us, because we started out with restaking and then now, going into doing the community sale and stuff, like I think whenever the TGE does happen, like it's not really, how to put it, it's kind of only the beginning. Like I still think we're really, really early in terms of Infinity SVM as becoming now the main product for Solayer. And so an example of that is like we have testnet that'll be coming up pretty soon. And then after that will be mainnet. I think there'll be a ton of opportunities for community members and people to start getting involved. I think what you touched on as well with the community, like we're really starting to build out now a stronger culture around Solayer. And so people who are into that, people who like maybe some of the things that they see at like Berachain or Monad, and that, we're trying to do probably a little bit of a similar thing with the basement kind of theme, and carrying that over as well, not just online, but also we're planning out a lot of events that we're going to be doing around conferences and meetups and stuff. So I think as the year progresses, there'll be more opportunities for people to meet up with other community members online in real life. We'll also be doing stuff with builders, obviously. So I think, as we sort of go into testnet and then eventually mainnet, there'll be more opportunities for people who are interested in building on Infinity SVM, or have Solana apps that are interested in kind of leveraging some of the scalability stuff that we're doing. There'll be a bunch of opportunities like that, and so I think like now is a really good time to just educate yourself and learn more about the project. I think getting involved in the community and getting some of the higher roles, opens it up to having us sort of support you in other ways. So and also we're really open to people's feedback as well. So if you have ideas that you think other projects are doing well or that you'd like to see us do, please reach out and tag us. And even I think the other thing too is like on Twitter, for example, we're trying to encourage more people to share stuff there. So in any of the channels, feel free to tag me if you create stuff, and then I can look at doing a retweet and giving you guys some support.
Awesome. Yeah, you're gonna want to get in the basement. And so I think
Not only that's a yes. This time
get
you
in the
will.
basement. Yeah, not the Silence of the Lambs basement, thank God. But yeah, that is pretty much that's pretty much it for community questions. I hope we got to everything. Chu, if you have any closing thoughts, or anybody else, anything you guys want to say, I think we this is a pretty good time for wrap up.
Let me think. Maybe let's open it up for I think Vez wanted to come up. Or whoever wants to come up. Maybe we can bring one person up, and then we can close it off.
I just brought him up.
Hey,
Okay,
yo,
we got the
can you
legend.
listen to me?
Hey Vez.
Hey,
What's up, my guys? How are you?
doing good.
Good to meet you here.
Good to meet you, Rachel. I just wanted to shout out you guys. I'm here like since day one. I was kind of early to Solayer. Used the first 5 referral codes. Got like 12 million points for that referrals. Since I used your platform, I enjoyed a lot. I saw the difference on your team. And in those days, I've been helping the community, staying calm, not asking when, TBA, TG, etc. Because for your work, I can trust you. I see that you are passionately involved in this, and Solayer is your baby. I have 2 questions. The second question is like yes or no, okay? Because we don't want to spill the beans, of course. But the first question is that I've been seeing a lot of members from your team on Twitter and not here on Discord. That's fine by me, no problem. But I just wanted to ask you guys, how many team members do you have, and where are you based? And if you are like in house all together, different countries or places working.
Where's the team, right?
Yeah.
I'm currently in San Francisco, but I'll actually be in Asia pretty soon. I think over the next couple of weeks. And most of our engineering team is based in the Bay Area. I grew up in the Bay Area, and went to school in the Bay Area. So I think she's based in Seattle. And Jason is based in the Bay Area. Yeah, Max and Tom, they're both based in Europe. Yeah, so I guess we're all in the basement hacking and hacking and hacking.
Nice. So you currently are like 10 team members, something like that?
We have total 15 right now. Actually less than 15, like 12.
Nice. You were saying something good?
Yeah, I was just going to add that we are actually getting more of the team now to come onto Discord. Chi is one of them, I suppose, but also we recently opened up the developer roles. So we're going to be, if people need tech support or just are looking for dev resources and stuff, we'll probably have some of the engineering team hang out there and provide some support. And then just more generally, I think we want to be more active, and especially in the basement and some of those channels too, where we can engage with the top community members and supporters. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. I think you'll see that there should be more core contributor people popping up and appearing as online, and feel free to hit them up and ask any questions.
Nice. Thanks for answering.
Just stop saying hi, not you, Vez, but just as a general note, stop saying hi in the dev channels. I think we already have like the dev channels have been discovered, and we already have like some like a high chain forming in there. I think maybe because we closed the high channel. So yeah, say hi to the developers once they're in there.
So guys, last question for me, and of course, if I can address the elephant in the room, I will just ask you yes or no, okay? I think I am the last guy you are waiting for hearing this, but so okay guys, was the snapshot for layer TGE taken? Yes or no? Just yes or no.
So there's several snapshots. The first snapshot is taken, and the second snapshot is ongoing. And we obviously will be launching the chain itself, which is going to be another snapshot. So there's several snapshots that's continuous and ongoing.
That's all I need. And the community as well. Let's
Nice.
fucking go, guys.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking slay, Rachel. Remember.
Right, that's not something I came up with, but we're good. We're good.
I hope now the community stays more chill, and then as we vibe, I told them, guys, just vibe here, have a nice chat. Also do some memes. Memes are beautiful for this. For newcomers to see a community just vibing and creating memes, it's awesome. Don't ask only when and TGE and TBAs, etc. I'm here on Solana like 3 years now. It's always like these big projects need to work, need to perfect their things. Token generation events require a lot of legal stuff. It's very difficult. And thank you for addressing that, Rachel and the team. You guys have my full support, of course. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your support, sir.
I think there might have been one more good request from a basement dweller or a basement member. If you can catch that, if you caught that by chance, Hoogs.
Sorry, you're asking if I caught the other question from someone in the basement?
No, I'm sorry. Another request to come up and speak.
Oh, actually, it doesn't look like we have any, but if there is anyone who is in the basement and wants to ask a question, please request. Cruise the goat. All right, let's go. Hold on.
Hey
Hi,
everyone.
sweet. Hey.
Hi, Alexei. Hi.
Hey, Cruz.
The only question I think I had, hey man, how you doing?
Good.
All right, great. The only question I think I had was the delegation process. I wanted some like clarification on how that works. You know, I wanted to like, cause I didn't really read up on that, which is my fault to be fair, but like I just thought this was like the best time to like get that clarified.
So delegation actually is underlying transaction acceleration, and is the core infrastructure of what we're doing with the SVM scaling on mainnet. So when you delegate to a specific application, we essentially account the stake that's delegated towards them and accelerate their own transactions that's broadcast to us. So basically, we currently run a mega validator on Solana mainnet. Quote unquote, we build very dangerously large blocks, and we process insanely amount of transactions, and produce dangerously large APY, and And when you delegate, it just means you're accelerating transactions to, for these apps. And right now we're doubling the compute unit. We're also doubling the amount. I mean, we're literally doubling the APY in terms of native Sol.
Okay, I follow. And I think the other question I was going to ask was the SO you delegate there, does it like stay intact? Like I don't know if that makes sense to you. I don't know how to like frame the question, but like I was kind of like wondering if you could explain how I could like accrue APY while delegating. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, maybe I can explain how the delegate works. So in the Solana validator, model, basically you delegate your SOL to us, and we will hold your SOL to run a proof of stake service. And like once you have the stake SOL, you are able to build blocks, and as a reward, you have the transaction fees and priority fees given to us, and also the jitter tips given to us, and we will add these SOL to our stake pool. Making the SO there will be more SO in the stake pool, and the SO will stay the same. That's why the SO price in terms of SO will increase, and that's the yield.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
So we had Joni. I don't know if that's his name. He one of the cypherpunk guys wanted to ask a question. I'll bring him up. Also, thank you for the question, Cruz.
Yeah, what's up? Do you hear me?
You're welcome.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, my question is, how is security implemented in Solayer, and what methods of preventing that theft does the team use in the project? Because in recent days, Addis Power and other platforms have been hacked. Security is one of the main issues in our reality. Thanks for answer. Waiting.
That's question's probably above my pay grade. I think Chu or Chi probably better at answering that.
Like, how secure is our product or the chain? Also, how do I pronounce your name?
Tony.
Tony. Okay, cool.
No. X-Oni.
X-Oni. Okay. X-Oni. Got you.
Did you understand the question clearly?
So if if our product is secure, or how secure is the chain?
I guess both.
Yeah, so basically on the product side, obviously the base level contract is using a standard implementation that Solana Foundation has released, which has been audited, for several years now, and is the base infrastructure or base contract that Jito, Marinade, everybody uses. And on top of that, we're optimizing for we're essentially optimizing our own validators through increasing the compute units, as well as optimizing the scheduler, and accelerating through hardware. So that's why you're seeing a higher compute unit. A higher APY compared to other protocols. So yeah, that's with regards to the stake pool. And with the chain itself, maybe Chi, if you wanna touch on that a little bit.
We're still writing the prototype. So for the security side, if there are any bug happen to it, the protocol itself will choose another mega leader to bring to be the new leader. So you don't have to worry about your funds being still all stale on the chain. And a little bit like background of the team. Many of us are from Fuzzland, which is like a security company before. We secured millions of like dollars on EVM. So I guess security is like just in our blood. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just a little more background. You know, why we're building this and have massive confidence in building this, first of all, is security engineers possibly and arguably are the best systems engineers, because you basically have to understand the architecture that this original system, there's some echo, this original systems engineers, you know, architected, and you have to break the code, you have to break the architecture, and then you have to save it, and you have to patch, right? So basically all of our engineering team actually comes from securities backgrounds. And you know, the Fuzzland team basically innovated and invented one of the fuzzing techniques, which is one of the MEV techniques. Same with Jason, comes from a security background, who invented security related patents. Yeah, so you know, basically the team is very much security based backgrounds, who has obviously saved lots of chains, lots of contracts, and lots of hacks.
Yeah, thank you for answer, and happy Saturday.
Can I have a question, Rachel?
Yep.
In a short term, like in the next week or in the next 2 weeks, what can we expect from Solayer?
What can we expect from Solayer? Great question. Watermelon. So I think, to be serious, we have so this is Chinese New Year. So next week we have a pretty fun week planned for Chinese New Year's. Hopefully whoever's Chinese here is, you know, can participate. So we have Chinese New Year's kind of campaign set up. And watermelon. And then and there's a lot more coming in terms of the week afterwards. We have a lot of new releases prepared, so be on the lookout for that. And then we get watermelon. I don't understand, what is watermelon? Like, what is this joke?
Watermelon fastly rose as a pillar of the community. Watermelon, you can see, has the Infinity SVM Pit Vipers in the chat. It's a watermelon with Infinity SVM Pit Vipers, and I don't know actually if Watermelon's he or she, but they quickly rose as a pillar in the community. I mean, they're extremely fast with helping with the wave of issues. So yeah, I mean, now they're just part of the war.
I made his PFP and I made it change it. So
I see.
serious to me, okay? I need royalties from that PFP.
So funny enough, a couple days ago I was reading a diary when I was 15, and one of the diary entries was, "I don't have anything to say, but I ate too much watermelon today." That was literally an entry I wrote when I was 15, that I ate too much watermelon, and that was the end of the diary. So
probably like a Hodor moment, you know, like
Can never
a
have
Destiny.
too much watermelon.
It's like a callback, you know. Like
You can't have too much watermelon. There's never enough watermelon.
Right.
Okay, watermelon now is horny, so be careful.
I see. Yeah, so lots of new releases, and next week is red packet week. Hopefully you guys can be on the watch out for that to get your rewards in your pockets for Chinese New Year's. Yeah, that's not much. What about launching new emerald cards?
Snake year, right? It's snake year, right?
Snake year, correct. It's my year.
Okay. That's awesome.
All right.
Oh, and did anyone solve the like the quiz, the puzzle that you launched on Twitter regarding the
Yes.
white paper?
Yes, I'm gonna announce that person on probably Monday. But yes, it was solved. It was the Winston Churchill quote. I forget the Twitter handle of the person who solved it. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, it was solved finally. And shout out to Joshua as well. I think he was in there dropping hints in the thread, helping people solve it. Yeah, I need to sleep. That's right. Okay. Yeah, he's the one who successfully solved it.
Nice, congrats.
So I don't know if there's anybody else that wants to come up. Otherwise, yeah, this was really fun. I think maybe one of the funnest AMAs I've done or been involved with. Do we want to take a chance for one last person, or should we? Is this feel like a good endpoint for everyone?
We don't have any more of the basement people that want to come up. So and it's been, I think, an hour, so probably good unless there is any final one. But yeah, Cruz.
Can I
The
just
question
say
also,
something?
I have a
Oh,
last
sorry.
question.
Sorry, Cruz.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't really need an answer, but like I guess for the community, some people like want some clarification on what happened with Bybit. You know, they kept like coming out with like dates. I think they did so twice, and those dates weren't supposed to be published, I guess. I'm not sure if you guys
Yeah,
have
that's
an
something
answer
that
to
we
that.
can't. It's really, that's a Bybit thing at the end of the day. It's so not really something we have insight in on, to be honest. So unfortunately, yeah, I don't think there's really anything we can add to it. But I think for those who are keeping an eye out for any official announcements and stuff, I would say just rely on our official channels. So we'll publish it, as Chu mentioned earlier in the AMA, like we'll publish something here on Discord. So if you're active in the community, you know, keep an eye out for an announcement there, as well as obviously Twitter and Telegram.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And yeah, sorry, Vez, did you have a final thing? And then
Yes,
we can wrap it up.
I was just saying that for the guys here in the AMA, we in the basement, we are not endorsed by the team, we are not paid by the team, we are just community members helping others, vibing, not being annoying with when questions, TBA, TGs, etc. So guys, don't you think that I'm here receiving any type of benefits from the team or whatever? Okay, just wanted to let it clear. And everyone has a chance to be in the basement. I can tell you 100% it is where the alpha is. Okay, before I came to this AMA, Rachel had explained us a lot of things. So yeah, let's keep vibing and let's keep things up. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Yeah, thank you guys.
If you're not in the basement, you're upstairs. So you got to get in the basement. Yeah, this was this was incredibly fun. I think maybe like I said, one of the funnest I've been involved here. Yeah. Well, you got to get in the basement. It's really that simple. And it's time to get in the basement and go hard. This is hardware season. So yeah, this was incredibly fun. Thank you everyone so much for coming. Stay tuned for the things coming, which are just going to be coming in a steady stream. I think like starting with, as mentioned, some alpha about the Chinese New Year. I think there's going to be a lot of events starting next week for that. More community activities. Expect to have weekly AMAs or community calls in here, some Twitter spaces, possibly some more YouTube activity. So keep an eye, follow Solayer on YouTube if you haven't already. And yeah, generally it's going to be one hell of a year. So thanks everybody. Let's I want to say let's slay, but we need to come up with something better maybe. So yeah, but in the meantime, let's slay. Thanks guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Have a
doing
nice
this,
one.
guys.
Thanks.
Really appreciate that. I left Slay too.